going to get started in a seated position, a comfortable seat position today. As always, I do recommend if you have a towel or a block or something to bolster a little bit underneath your seat bones, it helps to anchor down into the earth, align our spine, and get going. We are going to find that comfortable seat. Seat bones pressing down into the earth, hands resting where they're comfortable. Maybe they're just resting on knees. Maybe it's finding a mudra, one palm on top of each other, facing the sky to receive energy. Whatever variation, hands at heart center, whatever is going to allow you to arrive on your mat right here, right now. And for this opening session, I often will cue finding that internal gaze and closing your eyes to do so. I still recommend doing that. However, for today's opening, we're going to go ahead and keep our eyes open. And the reason for that is so that you can really find that drishti point, that point of focus, of unmoving energy, and start to begin to bring some appreciation into perspective. So quite literal perspective is when we are talking about what our eyes are absorbing for ourself, our sense, our surroundings. And with this drishti point, we have that ability to filter out all the noise, filter out all the peripheral, and bring it into one solid line, one solid point of energy to bring that sense back into ourselves. Now, this can be practiced off the mat as well when we talk about our emotional and mental perspective, finding this ability to focus in on what is important, focus in on what we need to accomplish, what your goal is, what will bring you the most good is that drishti point, that focused energy that we have. And so using this tool that we learn and practice throughout yoga in finding perspective is where we can tap into control. We can tap into our personal experience. Because when it comes down to it, the only thing we genuinely have control over is our personal experience and our personal perspective on things. And that is where we can find the opportunity to find silver linings or good or opportunity when it might seem a little bit bleak. And on cue, as a heads up, I do have my furry assistant yoga teacher here today. Hopefully he doesn't make his presence too known, just visible on camera, bringing our perspective into view with him. So let's begin to wake up our body a little bit, find a little bit more intention, a little bit more focus, a little bit more energy behind our inhales, grow a little bit taller, finding length between each one of your vertebrae. Now keep that lift with the crown of your head. As you exhale, let those shoulders melt down our spine. 2 more like that. Inhale, bringing a little bit more depth into our perspective, allowing that peripheral to come back into focus. Exhale, let go of something that isn't bringing the most good. 1 more. Inhale into the intention you need to find through this practice today. And exhale, let it go. If your hands are not already there, let your hands come down to your shoulder or to your knees. On an inhale breath, let that heart pull up and through. And then as you exhale, press into those knees, curling through that spine. Inhale breath, find that nice exaggeration through the front side of the body. Gaze can even go high. Exhale, press it away. We got 1 more, just like that, waking up our spine. Inhale, pull it up and through, look up to the sky. Exhale, press it away, waking up our spine, waking up our core, waking up all of our energy. Next inhale, come back through neutral. Find some nice shoulder shrugs, maybe some little gentle rotations. Organic movement, whatever your shape is calling, whatever you need, just make sure you're keeping it nice and balanced. And then go ahead, once you feel balanced, roll over those knees or swing those legs out to the side, making our way into our tabletop position. Just continuing with those organic movements, continuing with that flashy movement, waking up our full body here. Maybe some nice clockwise and counterclockwise hip rotation sounds good. Maybe some nice deep elbow bends, getting into some nice rotation through our spine. Or some tabletop cat-cows to join in our seated cat-cows. Once you feel balanced, once you feel like you have arrived fully on our mat, go ahead, find that nice, stable, sturdy tabletop position and walk those palms forward, palm width distance. Step it back, find that plank pose. We're holding here for 3. Really engage through that core. Find those big muscles in our legs for 2. Press into those fingertips, puffing through the back of the heart space for 1. And then on your exhale breath, we're coming down to our belly. You can travel through knees or you can travel through blank, arriving all the way on your mat. Tops of your toes, press in. Inhale breath, pull that heart up and through, cobra pose. Exhale, release. On your inhale breath, we're going to press it up through plank or tabletop. And then let those hips lift high and back into our first official downward facing dog. Go ahead, pedal out through those feet, wag the tail side to side, shake your head yes, shake your head no, arriving into our first downward facing dog. And then once you feel stable, once you feel balanced, find that stillness. On your inhale breath, use your belly muscles to pull the hips a little bit higher and back. As you exhale, melt that heart closer to your legs. Starting off with some sun salutations. Inhale breath, right leg lifts high to the sky, kicking up the heat by connecting breath with body. As you exhale, take your time. Pull that knee to belly, to chest, looking at that right thumb, gently step it through, and then left comes to meet right, forward fold. Inhale breath, press into those shins, find a halfway lift. Crown grows nice and tall. Exhale, melts into that fold. From this place, find your belly, find your core. Engage that core as you inhale, stand it tall, making our way into our mountain pose. Exhale breath, open up through that heart space. Inhale, reach it tall. Exhale, swan dive it, find that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, stepping it back with right foot first, and then left, find your plank. Feel that strong group of muscles puffing you up through the back of your heart space. And then as you exhale, come all the way to belly, through plank or tabletop. Inhale, breath, press the tops of your toes down in, pull that heart up and through, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, breath, press it up through that plank or tabletop. Hips lift high and back. One reset breath here. Inhale, use that belly to pull those hips a little bit higher to the sky. Exhale, soften through those hamstrings, soften through the heart, melting into that down dog. Inhale, breath, balancing it out. Left leg lifts high to the sky. As you exhale, pull that knee to belly, knee to chest, looking at that left thumb, gently step it through, and then right leg comes to meet left, forward fold. Inhale, press into those shins, halfway lift. Exhale, melt into that fold. Find that core, use that belly, engage that core to stand it tall. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, reach high through those fingertips. Exhale, swan dive it. Find that forward fold. Use your core to control it. Little change coming up here. Inhale, press into those shins, halfway lift. Sorry, not quite yet. Exhale, forward fold, hands come down to the mat. Step it back with left foot first, and then right. And then find that puff up through the back of the heart space. Find that strength. Exhale with control, coming all the way to belly through plank or tabletop. Use that core to engage. Tops of your toes press down. Inhale, breath, pull that heart up and through, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, breath, press it up through plank or tabletop. Hips lift high and back. Downward facing dog. Here comes our little change. On your inhale breath, come high onto your tippy toes. Use that belly to lift your hips a little bit higher. Exhale, melt through those heels, melt through that heart. Twice more like that. Inhale, tippy toes, breathing life into those muscles. Feel the strength. Exhale, soften. This time, inhale, come up onto those tippy toes. Look at that space between our hands and use your energy to travel to the top of your mat. You can hop, you can take a floating jump, or you can take 10 tiny steps to arrive at the top of your mat. As you exhale, melt into that forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. This is to reset the spine. Feel the length in between your vertebrae. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Come high onto our tippy toes, just like we did in down dog. And then coil into a tiny little ball. On your exhale breath, we're going to arrive onto our seats, finding a nice, comfortable seated. Find that length through the crown of your head, just like we did at the beginning with our breath. Inhale fully, deeply, completely. And then as you exhale, engage that core, engage that belly, press down into the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Totally different perspective here, using our energy, now focused up versus internal. We're gonna pull from that outside. On an inhale breath, let those toes go long, fingertips reach up overhead. Nice, full, big, deep belly breath, recognizing all of those muscles. Soften on your exhale. On your inhale breath, we're going to take our left hand behind our head and we're going to find a bend in our right knee. So our right foot is used as a brace. Left leg is long, right hand is long. Inhale, breath, reach it through those opposite side bodies. And then exhale, come up, tap those left toes. Inhale, reach. We're staying on this side. Exhale, tap. As you inhale, we're dropping our foot towards the earth, reaching through our hands. Exhale, tap. Keep it going. Your breath. Inhale, feel that length. Exhale, tap. Option if you want to up level. Inhale, reach it out. Soften through that right leg, letting it go long. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tap. Option number 3 is to let that right leg hover as you're tapping. Those left toes, keeping that nice stability. As you exhale, tap it in. That's our crunch. We're reaching, we're tapping. Variation 1 is knee bent. Variation 2 is right leg resting on the earth. Variation 3 is right leg hovering. We've got 3 more on this side. Last 2. On 1, hold it up there. Hold it up and pulse it out. Tap those toes for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, let it all go. Reach through that body, maybe a little hip sway. Whatever you need to do to release that heat, release that energy. We've got second side, so soak it up. Take some nice big deep breaths. And then once you're ready, let that right hand come back behind that head. We're going to use our left leg as a brace. So left foot on the earth, right foot is nice and long. Inhale, fill up completely. Exhale, tap it up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tap. Keep it going, your own breath. We're crunching as we tap. Option 1 is to keep that left leg braced. Option 2, let that left leg go long. Finding that little bit more length through our side bodies, through that pivot. Option 3, let that left leg hover. Wherever you are, keep that breath going. Feel that heat. Feel that connection. Option 1 is left leg resting on the earth. Option 2, left leg long. Option 3, hovering that left leg. Try and balance it out, side to side. We've got 4. Last 3. 2. On 1, hold it up there and pulse it out. We go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big deep breath. Let those legs go long. Let those fingertips come up overhead. Really breathe it out into those side bodies, into that core. Now take a deep bend in those knees. Maybe some windshield wipers. Happy baby is an option here as well. And once you feel like your whole spine has been reconnected down with the earth, you feel that connection, go ahead, give yourself a tight squeeze, a little belly massage with our quads, thanking them for all the work we did right there. Gentle rock side to side, low back massage. And then once you're ready, keeping a grasp on those knees, go ahead, begin to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine until you gain enough momentum to curl over those ankles and step it back into our plank pose. Feel that heat, feel that energy we just engaged. Exhale with control, come all the way to belly. Tops of your toes, press in. Inhale, breath, pull that heart up and through, nice belly stretch. Exhale, release. Inhale, breath, press it up through that plank or tabletop. And then hips travel high and back, downward facing dog. Feel that core engaged. Now finding this perspective, more internal, finding this opportunity to enjoy the shifts as we kick up the heat, as we kick up the energy, finding the joy in these difficult experiences, finding the outcomes, the different things that are going to come from it. And then permission to practice this off the mat as well. Keeping with the theme, keeping with our energy, keeping with our strength. Inhale, breath, breathe high into our hips. As you exhale, roll forward like a wave coming into our plank pose. Let that left hand stay nice and heavy. Inhale, right hand floats high, side plank. We're just here for a breath. We're flowing here. Exhale, back through plank. And then inhale, pull those hips high and back. Downward facing dog. Reset, exhale, soften something. Inhale, breathe high through those hips. Exhale, roll it forward like a wave. Left hand stays heavy. Inhale, right hand pulls high. Let it feel like a ribbon is pulling those hips high to the sky as well. Exhale, down to the mat. Inhale, pull those hips high and back. Release through that exhale. We got one more each side. Inhale, breathe high into those hips. Exhale, roll it forward like a wave. Right hand stays heavy. Breathe that left hand high. Exhale, back through plank. Inhale, pull those hips high and back. Use that core. Soften with that exhale. Inhale into those hips. Create space in those vertebrae. Exhale, roll it forward like a wave. We're using our core to control. Left hand stays heavy. Inhale, right hand flies. Exhale, come to mat. Inhale, press it up into our down dog. Reset, exhale. Inhale, roll it forward, come into our tabletop. And then permission to take a variation of child's pose. Forehead can come to the mat, but really looking for a wrist release. Rotating through our wrists, through our fingers, whatever you need to do to just shake off that control, that energy that we just found through those little plank flows, and then also a little low spine release as we're curling into this tiny internal posture. Once you feel balanced, once you feel ready, just from that little few breath lunar pause, press up into that tabletop, walk those palms forward, palm width distance, curl those toes under. Find that core, use that core, pull those hips high and back. Downward facing dog. Continuing with our theme of perspective, using our balance, using our strength, using our control to find the perspective through transition. On your inhale breath, come up onto your tippy toes. Look at that space between your hands, keeping your core engaged the whole time. Hop, skip, jump, however you'd like. Find our way to the top of our mat. Inhale, press into our shins. Halfway lift. Exhale, melt into that forward fold. Inhale, breath. Sweep those hands up and around. Mountain pose. Find our core here. Find that engagement. Standing nice and tall. Now grow roots into that left side body. Grow roots down through those left toes. Inhale, breath. Engage that low core to pull that right knee up in line with hips. Now engage through that foot. Full lower body. Totally engaged. As you inhale, grow tall through those fingertips. Exhale, soften through those shoulders. Playing with our actual physical perspective here. Inhale, breathe in, find that strength, find those roots. And then as you exhale, kick that right foot back as you use your core to control, finding our way into balancing stick. Our body is bouncing on top of our left leg here. Reaching through those fingertips, reaching through those toes. We're here for 3. Smile for 2. Keep breathing for 1. Find that core, find that belly. Inhale, pull that knee up and through, back into our staff pose. Exhale, right leg comes down to mat, hands come to heart center. Go ahead, boogie it out. Release those roots from the left leg. And now finding those roots growing down through the right. Inhale, sweep those hands up and around. Finding our way into our mountain pose. Soften through your shoulders on your exhale. Inhale, pull that left knee up in space. Knee in line with hip. Activating through those feet. Keep those fingertips nice and engaged. And then on an exhale breath, let that left leg kick back in space. As you're reaching through that upper body, growing those roots into those right legs. Balancing stick on this side, change of perspective. Find a focus, a drishti point, that opportunity to find control, to find balance, to find strength by shifting our perspective to see the good here. We've got one more. Big breath, find your balance. And then exhale, come back through staff pose. Exhale, feet come to mat, hands to heart center, boogie it out. And then find a drishti point on the floor in front of you, hands at heart center, pressing palms into chest. And just give yourself a moment here. Check in with your balance, your breath, your control, most importantly, your perspective. Choose what you're going to take from this experience. And then realize you have that opportunity to choose what you take from any experience. Inhale, breath, sweep those hands up and around. On your exhale, baby back bend, shine that heart. Inhale, sweep those hands high. Exhale, swan dive it, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Reset through those hips. Reset through that spine. Exhale, melt into a fold. One breath, forward fold here. Breathe into whatever is still hanging on. Maybe shake your head yes, shake your head no. And then on your exhale, heel toe your feet in until your toes touch. Sliver of space in between your heels. Deep bend in those knees, curl into a tiny little ball. Breathe into the back of your heart space. And then as you exhale, soft landing on our seats. Taking a breath here. Inhale, pull that heart up and through, finding that space in our vertebrae, elongating through our core. And then exhale, soft, with control, vertebrae by vertebrae, make your way all the way onto our back. Finding a nice long stretch here, toes reach out, fingertips reach up overhead. Big, deep, full body breath. Soften with your exhale. Inhale, pull that right knee up in towards space, giving yourself a squeeze here, basket finger grip underneath your knee, finding a nice low belly massage with your quad. And then move that knee out of the way, up and in towards that right armpit. And then as you exhale, rotate over towards the left-hand side. A nice little supine twist. Gaze falls over towards the right arm out at a T or a goalpost. And let yourself soften for 3 breaths here, enjoying this twist, this shift in perspective. Different sensation in our shape, in our experience, and finding the good, finding the benefit of what we can bring forward. One more breath here. Use it to soften. Go to your edge, go to your limit. Inhale, breath, come back through midline. Pulling that right knee in towards space. One last time. And then on an exhale, switch it out with the left. Right leg goes long. Basket grip underneath that left knee. Giving yourself a nice low belly massage on the left side with that left quad. And then move it out of the way, pulling it up and in towards those left armpits. Tight, tight squeeze here. And then on an exhale breath, let that right hand guide it over towards the left. Your hand falls out to a T, maybe out to a goalpost. Gaze goes to the left. And then give yourself 3 breaths here. Allowing yourself to enjoy this shift in perspective, to enjoy this sensation. One more big breath. Soften everything on that exhale. On your next inhale, pull it back through midline. Left knee gets one more squeeze to itself. Right knee comes up to meet left. Giving yourself a tight squeeze. Full belly massage here. Scrunch your toes, your feet, your shins and your calves. Activate your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, and that low belly. Feel that mid, upper, and chest get involved. Your back, your shoulders. Scrunching your hands, your forearms, your biceps and your triceps. Now bring that face up off the mat, kissing your knees, engaging through your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, and your face. Finding every single muscle in your body and equally contracting it. And then as you exhale, let it all go. Let your legs fall out wide. Hands fall away from body. And intentionally release all of those muscles we were just contracting. Fingers and toes are loose and heavy. Hands, feet, arms and legs are just floating in the liquid state of gravity. Soften your glutes. The belly just rises and falls with the breath. Shoulders and chest are totally supported by the bones. No need for muscles. Release all the sensation you're holding in your jaw. Let the tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. And then finally, that third eye center, that space right between your eyebrows. Let yourself float off into Shavasana. begin to bring some awareness, some perspective back into your space, back onto your mat, and back into your mind. Allow that awareness to gently begin to reawaken your shape by wiggling your toes, tickling each one of your fingers with your thumbs, and finding whatever little movement your body is craving. Once you have arrived fully back onto your mat, let those toes reach forward, fingertips reach up overhead, finding a nice, big, deep belly breath. From this space, recognize right or left-hand side, whichever side is calling to you. Right for more solar, external energy, left for lunar, internal energy, using our perspective to recognize what will serve us. Gently roll over onto that bicep, pulling knees towards chest, and finding one final shape, one final beat here to just bring all of that energy, that heat, that perspective, and that strength that we have gained through class to bring forward into the rest of our day, week, and even the rest of our life. Now, keeping your eyes closed or your gaze soft, gently press up into a comfortable seated position towards the top of your mat. And once you're there, bring your hands together at heart center, press palms into chest. Bow your chin towards chest, first and foremost, for thanking self, for giving yourself this movement, this breath, this flow, but most importantly, the recognition of perspective and that control that we can bring back into our lives. With our eyes closed or gaze soft still, bring those hands together up in between your eyebrows, lifting your chin towards the sky in a sign of appreciation and awareness of the energy and effort we were able to share today. Please know the inner teacher and light within me so appreciates and so recognizes the inner teacher and light within each of you. And one way to say this is to bow our heads and say, Namaste.